Hey guys, so today I thought I might do something different. Today I'm going to do the top 4 Disney films that I hate but everyone else seems to like. Now if you like any of these Disney movies, that is totally fine. We all have different opinions and different tastes. Hopefully my opinion can offer a fresh perspective. So without further ado, let's get into number 4, which is Wreck-It Ralph. Now I remember I was super excited for this film when I first saw the trailer in a hotel. But when I finally saw it, it was extremely disappointing. Um, I will say this. The reason why it's super high on the list is because it's not the worst. It's not a terrible movie. Um, but it's not very good either, in my opinion. So, the first half is actually pretty strong, where Ralph is trying to become a good guy. But as soon as he enters Sugar Rush, the movie plummets downhill. Another reviewer by the name of Harry Thomas actually said something similar to how I felt watching this film, that the film drags as soon as it enters Sugar Rush. I couldn't agree more, buddy. This film is in Sugar Rush for the vast majority of the film, and it moves at a snail's pace. Like, it feels like forever before it finally gets somewhere. And I will say this: when I saw this, I didn't really feel that connected to Ralph and Vanellope. Like, I thought it was an okay friendship, but I didn't really feel attached to these characters like I should have. Um, I like the subplot where Felix and Calhoun get together. That was actually kind of sweet. Um, but the film again is extremely boring when it gets to Sugar Rush, and I always feel like falling asleep whenever I get to the Sugar Rush scenes. Like, it's that boring. That's not the only problem. I found the characters in this film extremely unlikable. Now, I get that's the point, but they are so unlikable to the point where I just feel depressed whenever I'm in this world. Like, these characters are that unappealing to be around. This world is very cruel and nasty, and I just don't like hanging around in this universe. Now, again, it does have its positives, like the animation is very good, the voice acting is pretty good, and the end song is actually pretty good. Um, but as a whole, the film is extremely dull, forgettable, and just an absolute snore to get through. I think the sequel is much better. Like, it has a lighter tone, and I actually felt something while watching it, but I'll talk about that some other time. So, if you like this film, that is totally fine. I honestly don't get it. Number 3 is the Beauty and the Beast remake. Now, when this film came out, it was lambasted with critical praise. Like, there were reviews saying that this was visually stunning and just a bunch of critical praise for it. I do not get it. Now, I was actually a defender of the Disney live action remakes before they started to dominate Disney. Uh, but this was the first remake that made me dread them, like whenever they would announce a new one. The biggest problem with this movie is it doesn't feel like a movie with living, breathing characters that we can get attached to. It feels like a Broadway play. Like one of those Broadway plays that Disney produces once in a while, like the Lion King Broadway and the Beauty and the Beast Broadway. It felt like that. That's how all of these modern Disney live action remakes feel, like plays with actors. They don't feel like movies. Now, they did make some changes and they did kind of fix the plot holes of the original Beauty and the Beast, but other than that, it is the exact same plot, the exact same movie. It is boring, it is uninspired, soulless, and I just do not get the critical praise that this got. The CGI furniture was extremely terribly designed, like really bad. That's all I can say for this film. It's basically the first one, but suck out all the charm of it and the life. Um, I will not be watching this again. So, anyways, let's move on to number 2, which is Incredibles 2. I, like a lot of people, were highly anticipated for Incredibles 2 when it was announced. I already had an idea of what a sequel could be with the 2005 video game The Incredibles Rise of the Underminer. That is highly underrated, and it's way better than this film. That at least has an original plot. This film is so disappointing, dull, and just forgettable. This borrows so much of the first one that it doesn't have its own identity. The villain is the worst Pixar villain ever. Like, her motives do not make a lick of sense. There's no logic to her. Um, the characters in this movie, they have lost all their charm. They're basically reset to where they were in the first film, and they basically have to go through the exact same arcs again. It's like Brad Bird didn't want to make Incredibles 2, but just decided to because Pixar was going to pay him a lot of money and people wanted to see it. But he made the most dull, bland sequel ever made because he didn't want to make it, so that he would make sure that nobody would want to see Incredibles 3. He basically put a middle finger up to the audience and basically said, screw you, I'm going to take everything that you liked from the first one and either take it out or ruin it completely. That's what he absolutely did. He took the Underminer out, which was what we wanted to see, and he basically made the characters unlikable and relatable. We wanted to see them back, but not like this. They are super unlikable in this. Even Helen. The final battle is such a step down from the first one. Like, they just have to stop a yacht from crashing to the city. That is so boring and lame. Like, the first climax was, high spectacle. Like, they had to stop a robot from destroying the city. In this one, they just have to stop a yacht from crashing into the city. So lame. Uh, the opening action scene is actually really good, like where they have to stop the Underminer's drill from crashing into the city hall. That and the action scene in the house was actually really good. And where Elastigirl has to stop the train from like falling off of the track. That's about it. This film is completely uninspired, and it is just a gigantic crap on the first one. And I just cannot understand why people said that this was better than the first one. This is like a return to form Pixar. No, Toy Story 4 was. Toy Story 4 is way better than this piece of bile. Um, Incredibles 2, more like Unincredibles 2. Um, so that's my thought. I don't have any more to say. If they do decide to make Incredibles 3, hopefully they can improve. Highly doubt it because this film is that forgettable. Anyway, I will. And the number one Disney film that I hate but everyone else seems to like is Frozen. I hate Frozen. Ever since this film was released, it's been everywhere. In Walmart, Let It Go is playing constantly. Everyone always talk about how great a film Frozen is. It is the best Disney movie ever made. Really? We got films like The Lion King, Aladdin, Toy Story 3. Really? This is the best one? One of the biggest problems for me with this film is there's way too many musical numbers and not enough action scenes. There's not a lot of development, and the songs are all annoying and irritating. The characters are all forgettable and just boring. The only one I slightly like is Anna, but that was mostly because she was attractive. All of the other characters are so boring, dull, and forgettable. The film is extremely dull and boring. Like, when I saw the TV spots, I felt like this could be the movie that, the heroes go on a very long journey and, they learn a little bit about each other. Like, I thought that I was in for, like, a classic feel-good Disney movie, but this was not it. This is an absolute disaster. I just cannot understand why people fell in love with this movie. This is one of the most overrated pieces of crap that I have ever watched. I feel like critics were paid by Disney to give nothing but rave reviews about this film when it came out, so that people would instantly just accept that, it's a good movie because, you know, Disney wanted them to. It feels like people just believe the critics that this was the best Disney movie of all time. Like, you know, this is like awesome. This is one of the best animated movies of all time. It's not. It's dull, boring, rushed, and forgettable. And that is why Frozen is the #1 Disney movie that I hate, but everyone else seems to like. Um, a good thing about Tangled is, you know, it developed the characters, it gave us a journey with them. It didn't shower it with musical numbers, unlike Frozen. It actually gave us time to get to know the characters, and we got to go on a journey with them. Frozen did not do that. It felt like they get to Elsa's like very quickly. It's almost like the movie wants to end itself because it knows that it doesn't really have anything to offer. The one thing I can say is the animation is pretty good. It's better than Tangled. That's one thing that it has over Tangled, but that's the only thing really. So anyways, guys, what do you think of these Disney movies? Do you like them or do you hate them like I do? Let me know down in the comments. I'll see you guys later.